Hello, everyone. In this debate, we're going to discuss about the case called Building Walls in the Ocean. My name is Anidebet, and I'm going to be the moderator of today. Any one of the 5 participants want to start?
Yes, me.
Go ahead.
Well, we know that 2 ships from the African coast are crossing the Mediterranean trying to reach the coast of Italy. They are migrants fleeing their countries for various reasons. And in fact, Spain, Italy, and Greece are the countries that receive the highest number of illegal immigrants seeking asylum. The European country must follow up an asylum application, and these criteria are part of the Dublin Convention. And we know that the old convention reflects a commitment to cooperation between all member states of the European Union to help asylum seekers.
Okay, anyone wants to say something about this? Red, what about you?
Okay, well, first of all, we have to, for these people, they are human beings, just like us. They are people that want the same thing we all do, a peaceful life that was denied to them. Most of these people are actually hardworking people who are wanting to improve their lives. So they are fleeing, but they are not fleeing out of pleasure. They are fleeing out of necessity. And all of these people, human beings, not numbers, families, they have families, they are brothers, they are mothers, they are dads, they are sons, they are cousins, grandpas. And these all people are put into a great emotional challenge. They experience it's a great emotional challenge to make this trip. And this trip is because they have no other option. They need to act in order to survive and escape these awful conditions they come from. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone wants to add something?
Me, I think every country should accept them and celebrate the fact that they leave their countries where they had no liberty, they had no freedom. I think that they have the right to live in a country without war, without persecution, without kidnapping the children, a country where their human rights are respected. And that's why I think every country should open their arms to both boats.
Thanks. Anyone else? I don't know. Black? Maybe?
Yes.
Go ahead.
There is a problem between accepting and being able to provide. It is true that they as human beings have human rights. We cannot deny that. However, countries do not have the means to be able to provide for them a sustainable life in which they can develop new opportunities. Since with the pandemic and everything going on, countries are barely surviving in the means of how to adapt to certain situations, and bringing crisis such as escaping refugees is just gonna make that effort to make things better just prolonged. And countries also don't have the economical means to help immigrants. We cannot just look at this into a moral perspective. We also have to look at other factors as the economical perspective. It is economically almost impossible, I would say, to try and help these people that are trying to seek for a better life, because we don't have the means to help them economically wise.
Thanks a lot. Green, do you want to say something about this?
Well, I think in many cases, immigration occurs in the search of better life opportunities that are not possible in obtaining their country of origin for political, cultural, or economic reasons. For example, in this case, I know that for cultural reasons, a woman loses 2 of her 3 daughters when fleeing the abuses suffered by women in her country. I believe that countries have more responsibility to seek options to help this class of people, immigrants. That's all.
Great. Now that we know everyone's position, and Anyone wants to propose a solution for this problem?
Well, I want to say something that, in fact, all migrants, by virtue of their human dignity, are protected by the international human rights laws without discrimination under condition of equality with citizens, regardless of their administrative or status. And in fact, we also need to know that the United Nations affirms that those fleeing violent contexts and seeking asylum in another country are protected by the international law guaranteeing the principle of no refoulement.
Well, I want to talk. I want to say that those boats are not getting back to their origin country. Some country will accept them in order to give the Islam women have the right of freedom, and they should have the right to take their children out of the Islamic State and never going back, because their children were being kidnapped in order to join the military forces. And in the other hand, the people in the Golat's boat need to have back their right of freedom and live in a country without war and persecution. They should not go back to their origin country. They will not go back.
Thanks. Anyone else who wants to propose a solution?
I would like to propose a solution.
Go ahead.
Well, as everyone says, these are human beings. They have human rights, and they say, I don't remember who said it. They said that all of the countries due to COVID, they're having a really bad time. No, I want to be empathetic and thinking these people. If these countries, these more privileged people are having a bad time, imagine the refugees. They're having even a worse time. So in order to actually make a solution that generates a great impact, I think it will be the duty of all the countries that are surrounding these migrants to accept them, but not just accept them, but organize their welcomes, like among the countries. They already do that in the European Union, but we need more than just the European Union to accomplish this. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else?
Well, I think one of the main problems to be solved is the spatial and economic capacity of a country to give asylum to the immigrants. And maybe this can be solved by forming associations or organizations that can relocate immigrants in different countries willing to support them, just as my partner says.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know if Black ones want to add something.
Yes. Crisis cannot be solved only with hope and suggestions of creating new things, because that would just increment the amount of debt and economical expenditure we have to include. We need to think about this smart, not hopeful. Of course, we need to guarantee people their rights. However, we cannot help people if we don't have, like I said before, we cannot help people if we don't have the economical means to help them. And we're impossible, we're unable to do so. Therefore, my suggestion would be try to generate a diversion to another country that could help them. Perhaps the island of the United Kingdom could help them.
Great. Anyone else want to add something before I take a decision? Okay. Well, thanks a lot for everyone's opinion. I think the best solution for this case is going to be the Black's solution, which is not which is helping the immigrants, but also helping the islands, the Spain, Italy, and Greece, countries that also have the meanings to provide for them, but I mean, they have they want them to be okay, but they can't economically support them. So I believe that the solution of sending those immigrants for help to another country, like, I don't know, United Kingdom, would be a great solution. Thank you all for your participation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will dedicate this space to discuss a situation called building walls in the ocean, which talks about migration. And its possible solution will be analyzed. Who wants to start by giving your opinion? Maybe yellow one?
Yes, mainly we have to focus on the ideal thing. These are human beings whose rights are being perpetrated in their home countries. And we, as a more capable society that leads the world into many different aspects, should have the moral and legal right to help them, since it is historically, in historical context, it is our duty as perpetrators of imperialism to help them. They are people who do not have the same conditions as us, and it is up to us, the more developed countries, to support them in their cause, and specifically when their human rights are being violated. So I believe we should accept them, and we should help them go around the European Union in order to find new opportunities of development as human beings.
Well, I know their human rights are not being respected. I know how much have they suffered, but that fact doesn't give Spain, Italy, and Greece, and the other countries the responsibility of giving them asylum. Well, those migrants should prepare to have the necessary documents and economical resources in order to get off of their countries and immigrate legally to another country where their rights will be respected. There's the way of doing things, and the way they're trying to do it, it's illegal because they don't have the documentation and what they need in order to live in those countries.
Well, we had to be aware of what these people are going through, join with the hurt and having a sense of humanity. People are fleeing for a reason, and they're risking their lives and that of their children in search of a better life. I cannot imagine the horrendous things that happen in their country, so that they have made the decision to flee. These people have the right to a decent life without being discriminated. It is the only thing they seek, to be treated equally and to have an humanitarian life.
And speaking a little on facts, it's 21,000 migrants from North Africa and Asia that have gone to Europe so far in 2021. These are not numbers, but people and families, from which 620 are dead or missing. 620 unnecessary deaths result of the really bad conditions they travel to Europe, a trip that in the first place should have never been into. And it's due to the COVID crisis. If before it was difficult to receive them, now it's even more difficult or even impossible for the European countries to take care of them. I understand that it's a difficult situation they are in, but I would not encourage them from coming to Europe. Just because it's even more and more difficult each time to migrate to Europe. And most migrants doesn't meet expectations they have when they come here. Looking for an easier life, they find another difficult life full of new challenges for them. Thank you.
Well, I think that as everyone said, that that people, those immigrants, no matter what the reason why they're immigrating, they should have the right to have a decent life without wars and everything like that. But I also think that the country which they are fleeing which they're going through shouldn't have all the responsibility of them, because they're just trying to accept people. They accept people while they can, because they also have their own issues. So if I'm not wrong, there's already a Dublin Convention which states which European country should follow up on a asylum application. So I think we should base our solution to that, to the Dublin Convention, in order to form a solution that could benefit both the countries which they are arriving and also the immigrants.
Thank you so much for your participation. And I don't know, Red One, what do you think about the opinion that our partners make?
Well, I propose that the votes be accepted and do not return people. We have to have a sense of humanity and a note that everyone has human rights and that they have to be respected without discrimination and with equality. Please have an humanitarian sense and think about what these people go through.
What do you think about it, Whitehead?
Well, in order to find a solution, from my point of view, these migrants coming from places like Syria and North Africa won't stop coming until its countries find peace and stop the war on guerrillas that affect them. These migrants, of course, also have the right to a peaceful life, but as the European countries can't welcome them to it, we need an intervention, not a war intervention, but an intervention on the means of successful peace negotiations would certainly lessen the problem that affects every one of us.
Anyone else?
We, as a society that is more developed than others, have the moral and legal disposition to guarantee these people their rights. Immigration is a human right. Even in our codes as a European Union, we established that immigration is accepted and a human right. Historically, we've been the people who have created the scenarios a long time ago in which now the societies are collapsing. So it is also our moral and legal obligation to help the people who we have damaged in the past. For immigration is a human right. We are also obligated to comply as we signed back in 1945.
Thank you so much.
I think that any country should give them a temporary asylum in order to let them recover from those long and dangerous trips, and then give them all the resources as transportation, food, security equipment, in order to get them back to their origin countries. That's what I propose.
I propose something that was that it's like a follow-up from what Yellow said. I believe that, yeah, because I believe that people that can help others should help others, no matter what. So what a solution that I can think of is maybe stay with what we already have, which is the Dublin Conventions that states which European country should follow an asylum, and when with those because of that paper, it says that the immigrants can be accepted if they have like something attached to the country they want to be. So probably what will happen is probably the boat that comes from people that are escaping war, they probably won't have documentation, but the other boat that could have documentation, which is the I don't remember the name, but where there are only women and children, should be sent to those to the country the Dublin Convention says, and when they're there, they should have an asylum for the people that actually have documentation, and for the ones that do not have documentation, I believe the Greek government wants to invest 500,000 euros to build a floating protection. I believe that instead of investing their country's money, they should invest more in helping people. What I can propose is that instead of using that money, they should have like an asylum for the other people of the for the people of the other boat that are escaping war, and from the people of the boat, women and children that do not have the correct documentation, so for them to have like a place where they can stay in the meantime, where they can be where they can study the case more deeply and know which what decision to make.
Okay, thank you all for your participation. As I already mentioned it here, it can show a clear violation of human rights. And I actually believe that the governments of different countries should be empathic and concentrate on finding solutions to support them, regardless of their country of origin and their situation and the lack of documentation. So, thank you all.